right, 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 right.
Those got two lovely microphones there. I'll pick up the sound for the call. But that's the thing. Don't discuss your personal details, bank account, whether you don't like the sort of coaches. You cheer.
Okay folks, big warm welcome to K2 Crawley once again for the South East Masters long course competition. We're going to kick things off with the 800 metre freestyle mixed event. There's 9 heats. This is heat number 1. And away we go. Swim England South East Masters Open long course competition underway. Heat number 1. And from lane 1 in a full pool, which is fantastic. Elizabeth Savage for King's Cormorant. Rose Dudney for Mid Sussex Marlins. Janet Wood in 3 for Stroud Masters. Caroline Butterwick in 4 for Farnham. Lane Watts for Royal Tunbridge Wells Masters in 5. Nicholas Crew in 6 for Medway Maritime. Claire Moore for Bracknell in Southern. And Laura Lopez Bonilla for Dover Lifeguards in lane number 8. And I'll just have a quick look at the entry times, which I do have. So we're looking between 14 and 17 minutes for heat number 1. And by the time we get down to heat number 9, we are just about going sub 10 actually. So 72 entries altogether in the 800 metre free. And this makes up its own little session actually. So the 800 metre freestyle, our first event, and let's call it session 1A, because after these 9 heats there will be a warm-up for the 50 metre backstroke. We'll have the 50 back for the female and the open male, and that is session 1 wrapped up. So session 1A and B we'll call it. And then session 2 kicks off from 12:45 with the warm-up, and we start at 1:50 this afternoon. We go through to around about 5 p.m, which time I believe we have the Kent 800s later on tonight too. So plenty of swimming in the pool today. And through the first couple of hundred, we're going to have in 4, so Caroline Butterwick, and 6, 7 and 8, Crew, Moore and Lopez Bonilla. And with 1/4 left to go, the front four early on has become a front three, led just by Caroline Butterwick for Farnham in 4, and then in 6 and 7, Nicholas Crewe for Medway Maritime and Claire Moore for Bracknell. Can we just go back to the original times? It's been between 13 and 17 minutes, around about that number. So a fair range between front to back. And we'll shave off around a minute or so as we go through the 9 heats. And there's our first whistles of the day. Get used to those as we go through the morning. And for 800 metre racing, this is going to be a cracking finish actually. Rarely you'll see 3 so close with 100 to swim. Butterwick, Crewe and Moore continue to lead. Then in lane number 8, Laura Lopez Bonilla for Dover Lifeguards. A few inside in 5. Lane Watts for Royal Tunbridge Wells Masters. On the far 3 lanes, Janet Wood, Rose Dudney and Elizabeth Savage. All racing the clock, of course. These aren't necessarily direct races. In fact, very few occasions when we'll have direct races in the pool, particularly in the mixed competition. All competing against the clock in their own age group. So all 3 home here could be 3 individual winners. And a very strong finish from Nicholas Crewe in 6. Almost feel like he was biding his time. 14:03.21, well done Nick. And Caroline Butterwick, 14:07 and 14:09 for Claire Moore. That's a fantastic finish. Great racing in heat number 1 of 9. Then Laura Lopez Bonilla, who was part of a 4 initially. 14:20.10 for her. And in 5, Lane Watts, 14:28. So only 25 seconds between your front 5. That's pretty nip and tuck. In lane 3, it's going to be Janet Wood, representing Stroud Masters. Janet touches home in 14:49. So all 14 so far. Now, Elizabeth Savage, our most senior, I'll say, swimmer in the pool. She'll go back out one more time. Rose Dudney will close out her race. In around about 15:20 will be her time. Going to be a 15:21.54. And that is the whistle for Elizabeth Savage, representing King's Cormorant. One more time to the far end. See our swimmers for heat number 2 already preparing. Elizabeth's entry was just over 17 minutes, so she's pretty much on course for that, maybe outside, closer to 18. So the swimmers that are finished will have time to safely clear the pool. Although I think a couple might stay for moral support, that's nice. And Elizabeth will make one final turn. And she is 50 metres away from closing out heat 1 for us. It is a busy old schedule today and tomorrow. 4 sessions in total. Second half of this session is going to be the 50-metre backstroke. This afternoon, we have 100 breast, 200 free, 200 medley, 200 back, and the 50 fly. And tomorrow, we do all the events from 50 to 400 that we've not had yet. We do have 400 IM and freestyle. And then everything in between that we don't have today. And we finish around about 5 o'clock both days. Tomorrow, again, 8:30, warm-up start. But just a slightly longer warm-up. We start at 9:35 tomorrow instead of 9:20. And Elizabeth will close out heat 1 with a 17:38.52. This is heat number 2. Once again, full pool from lane 1, Michelle Coe-O'Brien for Croydon Amphibians. In 2, Tiggy Wood for Lewis. In 3, Sharon McLennan for Hadley. In 4, Graham Mortimer representing Lewis. In 5, Amanda Doyle for King's Cormorant. In 6, Stuart McClellan for Hadley. David Bell in 7 for Bracknell. And in 8, Christopher Marshall for South Bedfordshire. David Bell in some control of heat number 2 in lane 7. The Bracknell swimmer. Coming up behind will be Chris Marshall for South Bedfordshire. And those two are, well, David's about half a length ahead of the pool and about a quarter or so for Chris. And then come the rest of the chasing pack. Only half a dozen metres between the lot of them. Leading though, that's chasing group Sharon McClellan. 6:45 through halfway. So we're bang on for that prediction of around about 13 minutes. And Michelle Coe-O'Brien, Tiggy Word, Stuart McClellan, Amanda Doyle and Graham Mortimer. Easily be argued that all three of those are racing for third in the heats. As mentioned in heat 1, everybody in their own gender bracket and age group. Just having a look through, are there any direct competitions here? 65, 62. So Sharon and Michelle in lanes 1 and 3 are racing each other. And that, I believe, is the only direct race in the water. Otherwise, they're all trying to beat the times of fellow age groupers in heat 1 or set a new bar for the rest to come. And there are plenty to come. 7 more heats at the end of heat 2. And towards our final quarter, final 200 metres of heat 2. Extending his lead, David Bell in 7. What was David Bell's entry time? Let's take a look at that one. Uh, 13:48 David Bell came in with. In fact, every swimmer in the pool had an entry time that started with the number 13. I think we might be going a bit quicker. Especially David Bell and Chris Marshall, who is not going to be catching David or losing second place in the heat. There's quite a big gap in front and behind. The pack of 6, the rest, bit of a difference between them now. David Bell will hear the whistle. He's not quite going to lap the field, but it won't be too far away. Now, the way these are ranked, all of these heats, just in case you're new to Masters Swimming, When we get, let's say we get 50 entries for a race, they are ranked from top to bottom. So in every single heat, lane number 1 will be the slowest of the 8 in the pool, and lane 8 will be the fastest. So you will generally see, as a rule, all the wins coming from lane number 8, or 7, or potentially 6. A win from the lower numbered lanes is a turn-up, and they've clearly been training better than their entry time. But on this occasion, it is going to go to pretty much to form, with lanes 7 and 8 taking the top 2 spots. Going to hear plenty of whistles now as Michelle, Tiggy and Sharon come through. And Stuart McClellan. But our winner from gun to tape is going to be David Bell, and his entry time of 13:48 is going to be dismantled with a 12:19.7. Well done, David. Cracking swim. And as he puffs his cheeks out, Chris Marshall from South Bedfordshire, who had an entry time of 13:34. He's not quite going to go into 13 minutes, but he's going to take a great chunk of time off that entry in the low 13s. So well done also to Chris. Going to be a 13:08. 26 seconds quicker than his entry time by my maths. And then a flurry of times will come in from Michelle Coe-O'Brien, Tiggy Wood, Sharon McClellan and Stuart McClellan. I don't know for certain, but I'm going to guess the same club as well, Sharon and Stuart. Maybe husband and wife, so a bit of rivalry here. Might be wrong. I'll get told, I'm sure. But it will be Michelle Coe-O'Brien representing Croydon Amphibians, and she'll take 14 seconds off her entry time with a 13:44. And the McClellans split by only 0.5 of a second. Oh. Amanda Doyle, 14:02. And Graham Mortimer will finish off heat number 2 for us. In a 14:18. Well done, everybody. This is heat number 3. In the water, Jenny Vick for Erith and District in 1, and Donna Lee for Aylesbury, Mariano Rookholden for Croydon Amphibians, Helen Andrews for South Downs Trojan, Laura Key for Hastings, Laura Kinderman for Royal Tunbridge Wells, Trevor Clark for Kenilworth, and Karen Bassett for Tilehurst. And now we are going to jump down to the mid-1330s and the mid-1230s, very roughly, for our entry times. We've already seen one be beaten by over a minute, so let's find out what our competitors in Heat 3 can do over the next dozen minutes or so. All right, halfway, and in Southern it is Trevor Clark doing the chasing of the girls, Laura Kinderman and Karen Bassett in 6 and 8. Karen Bassett's entry time was 12:20. Trevor Clark's 12:21, Laura Kinderman 12:24, so less than a handful of seconds on paper between these three. But the girls have taken the heat number 3 by the scruff of the neck. Behind the front three, over in lane 3 in 4th place in the heat, that is Marianne Rook-Alden for Croydon Amphibians. And we do have 8 different teams represented in heat number 3, which is nice. Don't see that too often. And is there any direct? Yes. Jenny and Donna in lanes 1 and 2. That is a direct race. And Marianne in 3 and Karen in 8. That is also our second direct race. The rest in their own age groups and genders. .300 metres to swim, or a little bit less from our leaders, but the rest coming through. We'll all see the number 6. 4th place, Marianne Rook-Alden. Officially in 5th, Jenny Vick and Laura Key. I think that's how you pronounce her name, Q-U-Y-E, Key. And it's going to be 600 down, 200 to swim for Laura and Karen. Only a few metres between them. We've seen some great finishes already in the first couple of heats. In heat number 1, they were pretty much tied until the last 100 metres. And someone found a 6th gear. We have whistles for Karen Bassett and Laura Kinderman. And that gap has grown. Can't see Karen not winning this one now. She's not actually in direct competition with Laura, so they'll both be setting new fastest times for the next 7 heats to try and beat respective competitors, as will Trevor Clark be trying to do, the Kenilworth swimmer. And a win for Karen Bassett, as we thought, 11:47, cracker of a time that. First time sub-12 that I'm aware of. Laura Kinderman, 99 hundredths outside 12 minutes. So a great time, much quicker than an entry, painfully just outside the sub-12. Next time, Laura. Third person home will be our first gentleman, Trevor Clark. Okay, let's just have a little reference to those entry times, always useful. Can we get 3 out of 3 beating their entry? Let me just have a quick glance. Trevor came in with a 12:21, so just outside, but super swim again, third place in the heat. But the girls in charge in heat 3. Then look at this, 3 coming home together. Might be Jenny Vick, might be Marianne Rook Alden. Laura Key is just going to come in behind them. And a strong final couple of strokes for Jenny Vick. Gives her a 13:05, which is 25 seconds quicker than her entry time. Well done, Jenny. Helen Andrews and Donna Lee will not be far behind in 13:21 and around about 13:30 is indeed 12 hundredths over. That is heat number 3, done and dusted. This is heat number 4. In the water from lane 1 on the far side. Suzanne Maidment for Spencer. Becky Owen for Atlantis in 2. Catherine McCartney for Dover Lifeguards in 3. Kerry King for Aylesbury in 4. Patricia Ellum Speed for Haventon Waterlooville in 5. Medway Maritime Teammates in 6 and 7. Guy Armstrong and Anne-Marie Adams. And Dover Lifeguards again with Tracy Anstis in lane number 8. And all these swimmers looking to go sub-12. Tracy Anstis, 11:58. Yeah, all of these swimmers between 11:58 and 12:10. So sub-12 is the eye on the prize in heat 4. halfway. And again, we have a big leader, which is Guy Armstrong. Guy's entry time, Guy's entry time is 12 minutes on the button, which sometimes suggests that that's a predictive entry time. And in this case, the prediction is going to be way out. In Southern, Anne-Marie Adams in second, and in lane 5. Hang on. Over in lane 1, Suzanne Maidment. So for some reason, we have let's just wait and see the timing board here. Guy Armstrong coming in. And that has corrected itself. 6:52, Guy Armstrong with 300 to swim. There was just a few pads touches there from the LM Speed lane 5, while she was mid-length. Anne-Marie Adams is going to be retaining second place. Then it's going to be in 5, Patricia LM Speed in third in the heats. I'll keep repeating, these are not direct races in their own individual age groups. So you may have seen a couple of times for lane 5 there again. So that 8:32 for Patricia LM Speed. Please ignore those. We're getting some readings in lane 5 that are clearly incorrect because she's in the middle of the pool. We will get the correct finishing time, do not worry. And Guy Armstrong is going to be our first to get the bell. He's got 50 metres to swim before he hears that. Anne-Marie Adams and Patricia LM Speed in second and third. Then in lane number 1, Suzanne Maidment. So Guy Armstrong, who is in first place, not second on the board. Anne-Marie Adams and Patricia LM Speed in second and third. No changes. We might see a change in third place overall because Suzanne Maidment has always been there in lane number 1, and officially the 8th fastest of the entrants is the way we rank these from far side to near side. Hence we've seen all the winners so far come from lane 6, 7 or 8. And that is the correct story. And now the rest of the whistles. As Guy Armstrong comes into his final 25 metres. His prediction time was 12 minutes. That is going to be a fairly long way out. It's going to be a lot closer to 11. So Guy Armstrong, 11:12:06, your winner. Fantastic swim from start to finish. Looks strong from the opening 50 metres. I think I can see maybe a wire being changed on lane number 5, so hopefully that will pick up in the next heat. Second place in 7, Anne-Marie Adams. Look at that. Everyone finishing in second place, the top 3. There we go, there's one change. 12:05 for Patricia Ellen Speed. Anne-Marie Adams just going sub 12. That was the aim. Fourth place for Suzanne Maidment. Always within touching distance. And a 12:11. Becky Owen, 12:20 in 5th. And Kerry King. And our final 2 home will be Tracy Anstis and Catherine McCartney. And everyone home safely. Well done. So I think we're going to get a timing pad change on lane number 5, or is it just being tightened maybe? We are going to get a change. A rogue timing board is being removed. So our swimmers in heat number 5 get a few extra seconds to prepare. And now we do enter the realms of every swimmer in heat 5 has got an entry under 12 minutes. Look at that. Rapid speed on the timing board change. It wouldn't be a swim meet without a pad change, would it? Fantastic work, guys. Well done. And now this is heat number 5. In the pool, Chris Dunn in lane 1 for Spencer, Nikki Bindler for King's Cormorant in 2, Karen McKenzie for Team Luton in 3, Sarah Meaves for Wickham District in 4, Gordon Coops for Totnes in 5, Nicola Ludgrove for Royal Tunbridge Wells Masters in 6, Mark Ross for City of Canterbury in 7, and Adam Lillian for Dis Otters in 8. And just like that, we're at halfway. And this time, more than any other heat so far, split right across the pool. However, as we go down through the heat numbers, especially when there's a lot, the gaps between first and eighth fastest will decrease quite significantly. So you will see more chances of smaller lane numbers reaching towards the front, and that is exactly what Chris Dunn is doing over in lane 1 in heat number 5. The Spencer athlete right up there with Nicola Ludgrove in 6. They're the front 2. In fact, Gordon Coots is squeezed in between them with a 6:34 with 350 to swim. But it's nice to see this all competitive right from top to bottom. First time in this session we've had just the 7 starters instead of the scheduled 8. All of the swimmers in this heat, entry times between 11:40 and Chris Dunn is 11:53, so 13 seconds only across 800 metres between the Southern in the pool, and we have seen PBs set by beyond 30 seconds. Well, when I say PBs, more likely season's bests, and we know qualifying times. The PBs for some of these swimmers, if they've been swimming for potentially 30, 40 years, could be somewhat quicker. Age group personal bests might be a better reflection. Getting closer at the front. Look at this. We're going to get whistles, and it's going to potentially kick off a cracking final 100 metres. Your leader is still Nicola Ludgrove. She's joined, flanked by Mark Ross, Gordon Coots and Sarah Meaves. And lane 1, got Chris Dunn. So this is racing for a heat win. And a quick glance tells me that of the front 4, in fact, let's include Chris Dunn in this, the front 5, none of them are actually racing directly. So this is just a cracking glory win for the heat, whoever takes it. Mark Ross in 7, coming back strongly towards the final 50. Nicola's led this from start to finish so far, but not now. 11.03, 11.04 and 11.05 for Mark, Nicola and Sarah. This is excellent. This is what we want to see every single heat. So at the moment, Mark Ross, the City of Canterbury swimmer, just edging out Nicola Ludgrove for Royal Tunbridge Wells. And in 4, Sarah Meaves for Wickham District. And that will be the finish in the 1, 2 and 3. Yes, just 11.44 for Mark Ross. Nicola and Sarah share 11.46s, just a couple of tenths apart. Brilliant finish to heat number 5. Then comes in Chris Dunn, 11.55. So the first 5 home all go sub 12. And we've got Nikki Bindler and Karen McKenzie. In that order, will complete a super heat number 5. Well done, everyone. Those official results on your screen if you're watching at home. This is heat number 6. Taking part in our 6th heat, Katie Hole for Greenwich Royals in 1. Royal Tunbridge Wells Masters, Jasmine Lambert in 2. Farnham's Rachel Davies in 3. Team Luton's Sam Bradley in 4. Guildford's Paul Smoothly in 5. Erith and District, Suzanne Wilding in 6. Tidcot and Barramundi's Lizzie Guinea in 7. And Spencer's Jessie Campbell in 8. beyond the halfway mark, and we are back to having a big old leader, Lizzie Guinea, in Southern this time, taking up that mantle. Didcot and Barramundi swimmer. Behind her, almost a pool length away in 6 and 8, Suzanne Wilding and Jessie Campbell. Then in lane number 3, Rachel Davies. .150 to swim for Jessie Campbell, Suzanne Wilding and Rachel Davies. Then will come Katie Hull and Paul Smoothly, the only gentleman, alongside Sam Bradley, just the two of them in the middle. But Lizzie Guinea is dominating. I'm just going to double check on Lizzie Guinea's entry. It was 11:18. And she is looking to set the fastest time of the event so far, with 3 more heats to come. We do get down to, there's a few entries in the sub-10, so we do get very fast indeed by heat number 9. But they are almost anomalies, those 3. Lizzie will hear the whistle in a few moments' time as the rest see the number 4, if they were to look up. 200 metres to swim. It'll be 100 for your leader. And there's a cracking race on for second in the heat. It's been going on some time between Suzanne and Jessie. I'll have to wait a little while for the rest of the whistles because Lizzie's almost going to catch the back of the pack. She might do by the time she finishes. Just outside the top 3 in lane 3, Rachel Davies is front half of the pool. And she's got a good 10 metres or more back to Paul Smoothly in 5th before Katie Hull, Jasmine Lambert and Sam Bradley. So here come the rest of the whistles as Lizzie Guinea comes home. Lizzie Guinea, 10:16:43. That is an absolute corker. Well done, Lizzie. A lot over a minute faster than entry time, and that could still be there right at the end of heat number 9, because only in the entire event, there's only three entry times quicker than 10:16. So that is superb, and a thumbs up as well. And she'll get about a minute to relax now while the rest come in. Next it's going to be either Suzanne Wilding or Jessie Campbell. Can't split them just yet. In a clean fourth position, Rachel Davies. But who takes second in the heat? It will be, is it Jessie? Just on the touch, yes, by half a second or so. So Lizzie, Jessie, Suzanne, always the top three. Then it will be Rachel Davies in fourth place. Then we're likely to see a strong finish by Paul Smoothley in fifth, holding off Katie Hole in one. For Jasmine Lambert and Sam Bradley. But that's heat six, all about Lizzie Guinea. Strong start, strong middle, strong finish. A 10:16.43. Great job. This is heat number 7. Well, can they match that? Trying to give it a go in lane 1, Mark Robertson for Crawley, home swimmer. In 2, Andrew Huckle for South Downs Trojans. Chris Hopton for Camden Swiss Cottage. James Foote for Hastings. Noala Muir-Cochrane for South Downs Trojans. David Wood for Wickham District. Ron Mao for Teddington. And Richard Wilding for Erith and District. Our swimmers will now see the number 8 to get to halfway. And we do have the leader in Chris Hopton, who is swimming for Camden Swiss Cottage. And it is a comfortable lead, but not one that couldn't be overturned over 400 metres. Closest chaser in 6, David Wood for Wickham District. And as we see so often, these chaps are in separate age groups. Often the heat wins are about glory, but what matters is your time against the clock. Then Nuala Muir-Cochrane for South Downs Trojans. And Ron May for Teddington are your front 4. This is heat 7 of 9, if you're just joining us. At the end of which there will be a second warm-up of the session before the 50-metre backstroke races. That takes us in towards lunchtime. That warm-up officially scheduled for midday. 12 o'clock to 12:15 for the girls, 12:15 to 12:30 for the boys. And that lead is just edging out, isn't it? I don't believe we've seen a win yet from lanes 1 to 4. They've all come on this near side, but that trend is going to be bucked by Chris. Swimming in the vet 50 age group. Let's glance at the qualifying times once more. So if we look at, let's take our leader, Chris Hopton. Uh, 11:15 was Chris's qualifier, and in second place, David Wood, his was 11:10. So only 5 seconds between them on paper, and officially fastest on the entries in the water, 11 minutes for Richard Wilding. So anything sub 11 is going to be wonderful work. I've seen a couple of those already, well, particularly in the last heats, when Lizzie Guinea swam at the 10:16. That could last right until the final heat. And that could even be a gold medal in her age group, very likely. Now, I'm going to say that gap's just shortened ever so slightly. Not within pouncing distance just yet, but David Wood coming back just a touch on Chris Hopton. But we'll hear the whistle, so maybe it's too little too late. What type of times can we see? 9:24 into the wall, so yeah, we're definitely going to see a sub 11. We might see a couple of them. Nuala Muir-Cochrane and Ron Mau in 5 and 7. They've got half a chance of a sub 11, but it needs to be a fantastic final split on the last 100. Final whistle of heat 7 as the Camden Swiss Cottage swimmer Chris Hopton comes home, and it will be around about 10:40, so well under the 11-minute mark. Well done, Chris. 10:40.66. Cracking work. And David Wood also going to go sub 11. A bit tighter, but gets there. Job done. 10:55. Well done, David. And just going to be missing out on this occasion, Ron Mau and Nuala Moore Cochrane. And at 11:05 and 11:09.75. Next time, the outside lanes between Richard and Mark. It'll be Wilding that gets there, 5th place, 11:21. 11:22 for Mark Robertson. Andrew Huckle will be next. And then James Foote will close that heat 7. We'll have 2 more to swim after this. Yeah, and I think that was our first win from the far 3 lanes. Makes it extra special. And James will finish the heat for us. 7 down, 2 to go. This is heat number 8. taking part in our penultimate heat. Chris Freeman for Teddington in 1, Rob Arnold for Trafford Metro in 2, Lauren Askew for Atlantis in 3, Laura Hibbard for Hillingdon in 4, Matt Taylor for Spencer in 5, Jason Richardson for Woking in 6, Russell Clash for Basingstoke in 7, and Nicole Hamilton for Teddington is in lane number 8. Beyond halfway, and has been the case so many times, we do have a standout swimmer, this time lane 6. It's Jason Richardson. He's representing Woking. Second in the water in lane 3 is Lauren Askew. Then it will be Nicole Hamilton, Laura Hibbard and Matt Taylor. There's your front 5. In fact, Russell Clash in there, just hidden by a metal bar in front of me. Sorry, Russell. Now, Jason's entry time was 10:40. Everyone in the water is actually sub-11 now. And then in the final heat, we have a few, as I've mentioned already, in the sub-10s. So in this, the previous and the next heat, this is where a lot of, not all, but a lot of the medals will be decided. There's nobody in the last two heats above the Vet 70 category. So all of those 70 and above are decided. The rest are TBC. And you can come and collect those medals later on. As soon as the results are in for any races, you can come and collect those medals at the back of the gallery at the starting end. And the whistles for the second to last time in this session 1A. Warm-ups coming after heat number 9 for the 50-metre backstroke. Jason Richardson on course for a heat win. And you could probably argue that without seeing the official results right now, a lot of these will be new fastest times in gender and age group. The Woking swimmer will come home with a solid victory, and it might be a gold medal. In fact, I don't think that there's nobody in the Vet 30 in the last heat, so I wait for official confirmation, but I think that's probably a gold in the Vet 30 for Jason. Then we're going to get Nicole and Lauren coming home. They are in individual age groups too. So I have to wait for those ones to see. Nicole, 10:35, 47. I think that'll be a top step for her too. Then Russell Clash. I won't try and do all the maths, but you're likely to see all these swimmers with a medal of some colour around their neck. Gold, silvers or bronzes. Fifth home, Matt Taylor. Sixth home, Laura Hibbard. Then we're going to see Chris Freeman and Rob Arnold. And then we'll have one more heat to confirm who gets what. Excellent. So one more heat to come. And this is that heat number 9. Taking part in our final heat of the 800 metre freestyle, Elizabeth Tarr for Teddington, Hannah Angel for Woking, Peter Dixon for Tower Hamlets, Mark Tuddenham for Woking, James Dickinson for Beausejour Barracuda, Jessica Partridge for Strayed Masters, teammate Ellie Wallace is next door in 7, and in 8, Sean Callow for Medway Maritime. All these swimmers sub-11, Jess, Ellie and Sean sub-10. A reminder that the schedule allows a warm-up coming up shortly. So if you are taking part in the 50 backstroke, female or open male competition, your warm-up starts officially at midday. I'll find out if we're going to bring that earlier, but officially at midday. So we have flown through these heats, haven't we, really? And then at the moment, racing will restart at 12:35. TBC. I'll keep you updated on whether that changes slightly or not. But for now, we will watch Mark Tuddenham swim towards a victory, and most likely, actually, I'm almost going to say definitely gold medal in the... he was 29 years of age, not quite in the vet 30s, the Woking swimmer, will be next year. And behind him, in lane 5, James Dickinson, and then Peter Dixon in lane 3. So in the last heat, we saw 6 times under sub 11. And I dare say Mark and maybe even Peter and James can go close to sub 10. Fastest time overall so far was a 10:16. .200 to swim, or thereabouts for most now. I'm going to see the number 4. Next time round, Mark will see the number 2. And at the conclusion of this heat, give us a few minutes and then we'll start letting you know who's won what. You come and collect medals for the first time this week, and there'll be plenty more. We do have in total 24 events across today and tomorrow. 10 today, 14 tomorrow. A little bit slow, a little bit less today just because of the 800s early on. And just like that, in heat number 9, our whistle will blow for Mark Tuddenham. And he's on 8:09. He's going to be so far under 10 minutes. And I dare say James Dickinson can go sub 10 as well. And maybe even Peter Dixon in lane number 3. They've got really good chances here. Plenty of time to do it. 90 seconds or thereabouts to go out and back. Mark's entry time was 9:06. So it shouldn't be a surprise whatsoever. This is the only heat, in fact, where we do seed down the centre rather than the outsides. His time will be a blistering 9:17.74. And remarkably, he can go quicker as well. So well done, Mark. Fastest time of all. There was 88 official entrants into this event. And he's going to be quickest by about 20 seconds. And 5, James Dickinson will pick up a 9:40. And then Peter Dixon will also go sub 10, make it a trio, 9:46. Well done, guys, great work. Looks like next home will be Hannah Angel. Hannah's entry time, 10:20. So she will be all close to this. She should be fine. Look at about a 10:15-ish. Yes, perfect. 10:15.92 for Hannah. And in 6, Jess Partridge for Stride Masters. Her entry time was 10:18, just outside. But solid work. Then we'll have Elizabeth Tarr. She was a 10:25, finishes 10:34. And Sean Callow, 10:39. and then Ellie Wallace, all going easily under 11 minutes. Well done, everybody. And that rounds out our 800 metre freestyle heat, 9 of 9, all done. Well done, everybody. There'll be medals available shortly, so come and collect those at the back of the gallery at the starting end. That'll be all weekend long, that's the rule, okay? So once all heats in an event are finished, give us a few minutes to just confirm everything behind the scenes, and we'll let you come and collect those medals. So well done to all competitors and the top 3 in each age group and gender there. Now, officials, you can have a break. So the sheets for session 2 are available, so please go and sign into session number 2. So if you are swimming in session number 2, the sign-up sheets are now available. And unless I'm told otherwise, I believe we're sticking to our schedule. So the warm-up for session 1A, which is our 50-metre backstroke, female and open male, warm-up begins at midday. You get 15 minutes for the female competition, 15 minutes for the open male, and racing starts at 12:35. So we went through those 800s ever so quickly. We've got a bit of a break now, if you're swimming or not, and we'll come back to racing shortly. And in case you watched to, the pool is available for a warm down prior to warm up. And I do believe we are sticking to the printed schedule. Warm up begins officially at midday.
happens to go on over here. I'll let them know.
All right, now I'm sure that many of you are probably already in the water, turning the warm down into a warm up, but this is the official warm up now, just starting for the female 50 meter backstroke. So any gents in the pool, please can you make your way out? We are now starting the official 50 meter backstroke warm up for the female competition. Just to remind you, the depth of the water is 1.8 and 1.9 meters. Starting blocks are 0.6 above water level. If there's a false start, continue with a shallow racing dive. Don't topple in, head downwards. If it becomes necessary to evacuate the building, an alarm will sound and there'll be an announcement over the PA system. Please follow the instructions of lifeguards and pool staff. To evacuate, use the marked emergency exits. Do not return to changing rooms to collect any clothes or belongings. So any gentlemen in the pool, please leave the pool. This is the women's 50 back warm-up. This is the female 50 back warm-up.
nothing up there. Not until after the
Have you worn that?
sun's up. Then we'll go in again. And we'll go in again on the road turn. And then right 3 seconds after.
3 seconds.
Just come in. Just come in the agent.
Huh?
Just come in the agent. He's only 18.
It's only 18.
When the ladies get out.
Did you say you're slowing down?
Hey,
Did you say I'm slowing down?
yeah. So's Lee.
Huh?
So's Lee.
You've spoken to me.
What do you like?
Oh.
Okay, ladies, that is the female 15 minutes warm up for the backstroke completed. Please can you start to exit the pool? And the open male competition, you have 15 minutes of your backstroke warm up. That is from 12:15 until 12:30. So ladies, please start to clear the pool, and gents, you may enter the water. heat sheets for the 50 backstroke are now available on the wall at the back. So the heat sheet lane draw for the 50 backstroke is now available. You'll find it on the wall at the back of the gallery. So you all know where you are, what lanes, what heats. And that gets underway officially at 12:35.
Lane 7. The new guy, heat 2, lane 5. Chris Dunn. Heat 2. Heat 2. Lane 5. His name is Chris Dunn. D-U-double-N. Spencer. Okay. I'm warmed up.
Okay, swimmers, that is the end of our warm-up session. So if we can just get the final few to clear the pool, that'll be wonderful. We get underway in 5 minutes' time. There's only 10 heats of the 50 backstroke, 5 in the female competition, 5 in the open male. So a very, very short session 1A. And the warm-up for the session 2, will start very shortly after. So we do the 50 backstroke in the female and the male competition. Then we go pretty much straight into the warm-up for session 2, with that one starting at 150, because that is a fairly chunky session. So we got a prolonged warm-up in that one, but I'll bring you up to speed on that schedule as we get to it. But there will be 4 separate 15-minute warm-ups ahead of session 2. But before that, we get back to racing. We're going to be starting at the natural turning end, of course, 50 metres. 5 heats in the women's competition, 5 heats in the men's.
So there's only 5 heats in your heat 5. So you need to get changed quick.
Test start. Take your marks. Testing. Take your mark.
Is it tidy enough up there? I think a little bit. Is it tidy?
Right, let's get underway with session 1A. It's the backstroke 50-metre races. First out, the female competition. 5 heats. This is heat number 1.
Take your marks.
First up in the water from lane 1, Jenny Ball for Ride, Josie Adam for Brighton Dolphins, Susan Dewar for Havant Waterlooville, Shauna King for Royal Tunbridge Wells Masters, Jane Asher for King's Cormorant, Sally Lillian for Dis Otters, and Shelley Robinson for Sevenoaks. In fact, we don't have Shelley Robinson. We have the Southern of the 8 starters. Several names, those of with several masters under their belts will recognise. Leading the way in Southern is Shelley Robinson. Of course, 7 lanes, not 8 lanes in heat number 1. And she'll take a win in a time of 58.63. Jane Asher, who enters the Vet 95 this year. 102.84 in 5th place. Sally Lillian also went sub 60 seconds. Well done. This is heat number 2. Second heat from lane 1, that's the far side, whether you're in venue or online. Beverly McKenna for Hammer Hempstead. Got Trixie Nesbitt for Lewis. Joy Reese for Tonbridge. Alison Gwynn for Mid Sussex Marlins. Marcel Williams for South Downs Trojans. Teammate Shona Faulkner next door in lane 6. Then Christine Goodair for King's Cormorant. And Amanda Doyle, teammate for King's Cormorant. Alison Gwynn in the blue cap for Mid Sussex. Enjoying her 50 back. It's a time of to be confirmed. Goodair was second in 7:48.3, so it's quicker than that. There we go, 47.36. Confirmed time for Alison. This is heat number 3. From lane 1, Pauline Hogg for Hamilton Waterlooville. In 2, Kate King for Wickham District. In 3, Darren Creasy for Aylesbury. In 4, Catherine McCartney for Dover Lifeguard Club. Kathleen Tunnicliffe in 5. In 6, Kathy Bidnall for Mid Sussex Marlins. In 7, Lindsay Kellyone for Wantage. It's the White Horses. And Nuala Muir Cochrane for South Downs Trojans is in lane number 8. And it's the latter two that lead the way, Kellyone and Muir Cochrane. Oh, very close, 40.93 for Nuala. And Lindsay a 41.10, just 2/10 separating them, less in fact. Third place in the middle, Tunnicliffe, 42.95. This is heat number 4.
Take your marks.
Gail Henry in 1 for Portsmouth North Sea, Alice Dinsdale Young for Otters, Karen McKenzie for Team Luton, Laura Cook for Bracknell, Kelly Clark for GB Police, Andrea Coombs for Farnham, Alex Smith for Epsom District, and Jess Strudwick representing Dorking. Once again, look towards lane 8, Jess Strudwick, 28 years young, and she will lead Laura Cook and Kelly Clark into the middle. Only just 37.29. In fact, all three of them in the 37s. And most of the field sub 40. There's one more heat to come. Those times confirmed in heat 4. This is heat number 5. And finally, Didcot and Barramundi's Lizzie Guinea in 1. Tonbridge Sarah Brown in 2. Calvary Bing in Christina Bramley in 3. Bracknell in 4 with Kirsty Johnson. Crawley's Lindsay Wright in 5. Otters Lei Ping in 6. Medway Maritime Charlotte Callow in 7. And City of Norwich's Catherine Markwell is in lane number 8, and they're flying. Particularly Kirsty Johnson for Bracknell. That's a cracking swim. 31.10, excellent work. 33 for Wright, 34 for Ping, 35 for Bramley and Brown. Well, that got a lot quicker at the end, didn't it? Well done, everybody. That's all the girls done in the female 50 backstroke. Now on to the open male competition. Again, 5 heats in total. The open male 50 backstroke, heat number 1.
Take your marks.
From the top in lane 1, Jeffrey Bishop for Royal Navy, Chris Jessup for Salisbury, Lee Curtis for Brighton Dolphins, Chris Orchard for Deepings, Lewis teammates in 5 and 6, Graham Mortimer and David Sheed. In Southern, Guildford City's Roger Billing, and Beckenham in 8 with Tim Waters. Six, 7 and 8 at Sheed, Billing and Waters. And it's looking like David Sheed, but it will go right down to the touch. Yes, gets it 44.87. Before Tim Waters, Roger Billing, and the best of the rest, Graham Mortimer in 5. Chris Orchard, Lee Curtis, Chris Jessup and Jeffrey Bishop. It's a complete heat number 1. This is heat number 2.
Take your marks.
From the top, David Bell, representing Bracknell. And David Champ for King's Cormorant. Royal Tunbridge Wells Masters teammates in 3 and 4, Adrian Pinnington and Brian Robert Hunt. Chris Dunn for Spencer in 5. Mark Lewis for Team Luton in 6. Jonathan Exall, Royal Tunbridge Wells Masters in 7. And Trevor Clark for Kenilworth Masters is in lane number 8. This is close. Edging towards this near side, as they naturally do in the opening or earlier heats. Trevor Clark with a quarter of a body length out in front, 39.22, by only 14 hundredths over Mark Lewis. Then Jonathan Exall goes a smidge under 40 seconds. Well done, Trevor. This is heat number 3.
Do you want a cup of tea?
I'll go downstairs.
Do you want a coffee and a sandwich? Before we go.
Mark.
Anthony Clark for Bracknell. Ray Shaw-Cooper for Borough of Newham. Phil Atwood for Godalming. Simon Haller for RTW Masters. Ryan Willis for Aylesbury. Nigel Vickers for Rushmore Royals. Mark Partridge for Stroud. And Andrew Burbidge for Epsom District. Trio in the middle. So that's Haller, Willis and Vickers, and Andrew Burbidge in 8 on the outside. And it's between Vickers and Burbidge. And it goes to Nigel Vickers, 35.72, 21 hundredths. Head of Andrew Burbidge. And then Simon Haller in 4, took 3rd spot in the heat. Of course, all different age groups here. 2 more heats to come to decide things. And there'll be more medals available to collect at the back of the gallery. Finishing times are confirmed. This is heat number 4.
Your marks.
This time you got Powell for Team Luton, Dubricky for Didcot and Barramundi, Parkins for Crawley, Taylor Spencer, Wilkinson for Head to Swim, Berry for Spencer, Squires for Team Anglia, and Emerson for Amersham. And this time it is looking like Tomasz Dubricky in 2 for Didcot and Barramundi. Don't get many wins from lane 2, but there will be one here. Super Swim, 32.38 for Tomasz. And Matt Taylor in 4 for 2nd place. Guy Emerson 3rd on the outside in 8. Dubricky, 32.38, new fastest time. 1 heat to come. And this is heat number 5.
Take your marks.
Martin Schofield for Crawley, Ashton Wilmot for Eastbourne, Michael Andrews, Portsmouth North Sea, Jason Richardson for Woking, Adam Toy for Portsmouth North Sea, Oliver Espinassi for Basingstoke, Martinus Marks for Crawley, and Craig Steinoff for Hailsham. Should be the quickest of the lot. So far, the Brickies 32.38. Might see a sub 30 here. Yes, of course we will. Jason Richardson, 28.93. Also joined sub 30 by Oliver Espinassi, Michael Andrews and Adam Toy. Now, we saved the best for last. And that does conclude very quickly the session 1A. It was just the 50 backstroke in the female and the open male. As I mentioned previously, we now go pretty much, let's wait for the pool to clear, and our officials can leave the pool side, but we do go into a warm-up now, and this is the warm-up for session. Let me have a quick look actually. I got 5 minutes to spare. Warm-up officially starts at 1 o'clock, and that will be the female 50 years and over, 15 minutes. Then the open male 50 years and over, we'll have 1:15 to 1:30. Female under 50 years, 1:30 to 1:45, and open male under 50 years, 1:45 to 2 o'clock. So we have 4 15-minute warm-ups starting at 1 o'clock in 5 minutes' time. Well done to all of our swimmers and medalists in the 50 back. So with that warm-up in mind, as ever, I'll just tick a box here and let you know, in the depth of the water at both ends is, well, shallow end is 1.8 metres, deep end is 1.9. Starting blocks are 60 centimetres above water level. Coaches and team managers, only those swimmers who have reached the standard of the Swim England Competitive Start Award can start with a shallow racing dive from the starting blocks. If there's a false start, continue with a shallow racing dive. Don't topple into the water, that's dangerous. If you're starting in the water, lower yourself over the side, do not jump or dive. If it becomes necessary to evacuate the building, an alarm will sound and there will be an announcement over the PA system. Everybody must follow the instructions of the lifeguards and pool staff. To evacuate the building,